Today we are going to start the data structure. We are going to discuss data structure 2 and the concept is queue. Like the stack, the queue is also a concept. What type of concept it is? A queue is the linear list implemented in FIFO, first in, first out. Queue is like the queue in the railway station, queue any kind of ticket counter, where the person who is stand at first, he will get the ticket first, and you cannot join at the first, you have to join at the last. So a queue is the linear list implemented in FIFO, first in first out manner, where insertion will take place at the rear end and the deletion are restricted to occur only at the front end of the queue. Now we will see an imaginary picture of the queue. There is no real picture, we cannot draw the picture, it is an imaginary picture of the queue. So what will happen? This is called the front, this is called the rear. These two, front and rear, will take these two variables when we are doing the programming. In the front will always remain at 0. Front will always remain at 0 and rear will go through this one. Means suppose I have inserted the 7, then front and rear both are at 0. I have inserted the 2, the next one, so rear will move at 1 but front will remain at 0. Once again I have inserted the 6, then what will going to be happen? Rear will move to the 2. Then I have inserted the 9, rear will move to 3. Like that it will come at the 4. Now what will happen? You can insert here in the 5, but you cannot insert in the beginning. You cannot in the concept of queue, because queue, I told you, it is a queue in the railway station. In the ticket counter, what will happen? The person who is stand at first, who is in the first position, he will get the ticket first and he will come out from the queue. If you have to join the queue, you have to go to the last, means in the rear. So these two variables we are going to take. It is not necessary that the name of the variable should be front and rear, but we are going to give that one. Means actually the rear indicate the last insertion position. Suppose if I ask you in which position the last number has been inserted, if you see the value of the rear, it will be clear to you. It is the 4th. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it has been inserted over there. Now we'll go to the programming. I have defined the functions. First function is for inserting the elements in the queue. Second one, deleting the things from the queue, and another one, displaying the elements of the queue. So first one, what happens? It will insert the element into the queue and it will be implemented with a list. QE, this one is a list. Item, front and rear. So we need to know this one with the QE. QE is the name of the list through which we are going to implement the queue. Item, the item which I have taken from the user to insert into the queue. Front and rear, these two are going to maintain that front will be in the 0 and rear will be go up to the near insertion point. So what I have done, QE.append item. We know the function of the append. What is the function of the append? It will insert the element at the end of the queue. Now if len QE is equal to 1, len QE is equal to 1, then front and rear will be inserted to assigned to the 0. Why? Already I have discussed this one in the stack. Suppose, and just before we have seen the imaginary picture of a queue. The subscript of the queue has been started with a list is started with a 0. So, and len always give you the value in 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose one element has been inserted. If I find the length of the queue, it will show you 1. But actually it is in the which position? It is in the 0 position. The first element has been inserted. If it is a first element, then what I have to do? I have to initialize the front and the rear with the 0, because I will see the next part in the next part of the program that I have initialized this front and rear with a none. None means no value is there. So if after the append, if it is, because depending upon the front and rear, we are going to display the things. Now after the append, if it is an first element, how will we understand that it is an first element? If the length of the queue is 1, because we are going to find the subscript number of a list. What is the formula? Formula is length minus 1, because the subscript will start with a 0 and length always start with a 1. So if one element has been inserted, the length of the queue will be 1 and it is in the first subscript means 0. So 1 minus 1, it will be the 0. If it is there, fine. If it is not there, then rear is equal to length of the queue minus 1. Length of the queue minus 1, because this rear is going to be used extensively in the display element. Now if it is the second element, first element, what will happen? I told you. If it is the second element, then this condition, if length QE is equal to 1, will not be the true, because it will be 2 at that time. So what is going to happen? But the subscript will be 2. No, if I inserted 2 numbers, one will be in the 0 position, one will be in the 1 number position. But what length will show 2. If I make it minus 1, it will come to the 1. So rear will be set to the 1. Now the DQ. DQ means delete. I am going to delete the element from the queue. So what will going to be happen? QE, front and rear I have inserted. If len QE is equal to 0, if it is 0, then empty queue. 0 means empty queue. Else queue dot pop. What it will do? It will delete from the 0 location. What will going to be happen? It will delete from the 0 location. In the first one, if len QE is equal to 0, after the deletion, if len of the queue is 0, means one element only is there and that has been deleted, then front and rear will going to be set to the 0. So what will going to be happen? If it is QE is equal to 0, then front and rear will going to be set at 0. Now the display function. What will going to be happen with the display function? It will display the element of the queue. Fine. If len of the queue is equal to 0, print empty. Else front is equal to 0, rear is equal to length of the queue. Here I have not done the minus 1. Why? Because in the for loop, if I use 0 to rear means length minus 1, automatically it will come the minus 1, because if the length is 2, in the for loop it will go up to the 1. We know that one. In the for loop, the last value is not going to be shown. So what will going to be happen? For a in range 0 rear, print QA. Why I have not make it minus 1? Because automatically in the for loop it will be the minus 1, because if the length is 5, it will go up to 4. If the value of the length is 5, then it will go up to the 4 in the for loop. Now we'll see the main portion of the programming, the top portion of the programming. QE, it is the list, blank list. Front none, rear none. While true, we know that one. While I have make it true, because until the break has been confronted, the loop will continue. Now the print, queue operations, print 1 to create, print 2 to delete, print 3 to display, and print 4 to exit. Now what will going to be happen? I have taken the input from the user. What I have done? I have taken the input from the user. Choice. 1 for create, 2 for delete, 3 for display, 4 for exit. Fine. Now what I have done? I have taken the choice. Choice 1 means the create function is going to be called. Obviously it has been called. Before that I have taken the item which is to be inserted. If choice is 2, delete queue function is going to be called. And if the choice is 3, display function is called. And if the choice is for break means it is going to be go out from the program. Thank you very much.